Hello, Jared here, and I'm back. And I know I haven't had any of these videos for a while, but I know I've said in the past, I always bring up my past videos, but I don't want to do any videos if I don't have something to say. And this video tends to recap on many other videos that I've done, where there's been parts of lots of my videos where I mention these things, and I decided, you know what? I've been thinking about this for a while, and I feel like I need a video dedicated to this because it's kind of a big deal to me, and it's kind of the whole reason I've been drawing. It's the whole reason I'm doing this graphic novel. It's the meat, it's the core, and I feel that by talking about it, maybe that can help others maybe have a different perspective and viewpoint from this point out. I don't know. Who knows? But here I go. So as most videos that I do that are like this, it's not really about the drawing, it's about everything else. It's about the mental game, it's about the life stuff, I guess. But that's what it is for me. I mean, it's like any game, it's like any skill that you build. It's never so much about the actual skill, it's more about your mentality during the skill. Like when you take a professional football player or a baseball player, they're not just great because they have a great arm or a great batting average or long amount of yards that they run. It's because they also keep their head in the game. And whatever that is that makes you do that, that's kind of personal to every single person out there. And I'm not sure when it happened for me, but I woke up one day, and I said this before, that I didn't want to just do the daily grind anymore. I didn't want to just go to work, do my job, get some money, pay the bills, and then just escape life for the rest of the time and watch Netflix and play video games and go to bed, rinse and repeat 7 days a week. And when I talk about this video of making the most of your time, that's where I'm going with this. And by no means am I saying anybody that plays video games or watches movies and TV shows is doing a bad thing. Heck no. I mean, what do you think a graphic novel is? I want to sit here and write something and make something for others to take time out of their life and escape life reading somebody else's story. Isn't that what all entertainment mediums do? Video games to books to TV shows and movies? That's exactly what they do. And I'm participating in a different type of medium that does the same thing. But I also think that there's a balance, and it's easy to get caught up in all those escapisms. And I feel that that can actually hurt you in the long run. And that's what I'm wanting to talk about in this video. There was a great article that I saw come across one of my social media feeds that I love so much because there was the things that I was thinking about for so long. It was from Inc.com. I'll put the link in the video below. That's 20 brutal truths about life no one wants to admit. And as I started reading it, I just started smiling. I'm like, yep, these people get it. These are things that I started figuring out a while ago. And it's humbling, I guess. I'm not going to go through all of them, but if I just start at the top, there's a few that you're going to kind of understand where this video is going. And number one is you're going to die and you have no idea when. And they have descriptions below these. And then there's, number two, everyone you love is going to die and you don't know when. And then there's your material wealth won't make you a better or happier person. But this keeps going on. And it's kind of, I don't know, I don't want to say it's like the whole, let's take a Buddhist perspective on this. But when you start taking a big step back and looking at life, looking at your life, trying to conceptualize what it means, it gets really scary really fast, and then it makes you look at your own life and go, okay, what have I done with it so far? Do I have any regrets? And that leads me on to some thoughts that I've had. It's like, I'm to the point where if I wake up every day, I actually do kind of think that you never know, it could be your last day on Earth. And if you went out into the world tomorrow, and something terrible happened, you got in a car accident, a bus hit you, someone shot you, or you got stricken with cancer or something, or some horrible disease, and you find yourself sitting in a hospital bed, staring at the ceiling, and you find out that it's something, whatever you have is terminal or you could die, would you have any regrets at that point? Would you sit there and go, damn, I wish I wouldn't have played Call of Duty, 5 hours a night for the last 3 years? I could have done so many other things with that time. And I'm not saying you could have been doing a graphic novel. I'm saying that there are just other things that you can do rather than just escaping and being a consumer all the time. I've said again before that I think that everyone should give something back into the world. Everyone that's brought into the world should present something new to the world that wasn't there before, that others get to use or enjoy in some way, or someone gets to learn in some way. I feel like that's almost like a civic duty that everyone should be able to take something. It doesn't have to be art. You don't have to be a writer or a musician or anything. I mean, it could be any type of craft. I mean, you could be a swordsmith. You could be a carpenter. You could be a comedian, an entertainer. You could, donate to charity. You could work, charities and soup kitchens, join Greenpeace. I don't care what it is. Do something that gives back to the world in some way, and make sure that you like doing it, you love doing it, and you're really good at it, and you want to keep doing it. Like, everyone's got that ability to lock in on something that they like to do and they're good at. And I would encourage anyone to seek that out. So as I mentioned just a second ago about sitting in a hospital bed and staring at the ceiling and wondering, oh man, what have I done with my life? This video is going to take a little bit of a personal turn, and I didn't know the guy super well. People that I work with and friends that I have knew him far better than myself. But there's an individual that I actually ended up meeting. I was playing Diablo 3. I had some days where I was junking out on Diablo 3. I still actually play it every now and then. And I played quite a bit of StarCraft as well. But this individual, I played online with them. We'd play in teams, and I'd be with groups of friends, and we'd hang out. And I found out that this person ended up getting stricken with cancer, and he had tumors throughout all of his body. And it was pretty much terminal. And he died, I believe, last year in 2015. He was 34 years old. He was 1 year older than me. 34 years old. And just due to family relations and religious disagreements, like his own family wasn't even at his deathbed. But his friends were there, and that's what counts. I mean, the people that mattered in his life the most were there for him. But there's a documentary that was made before he died that's on YouTube that I'm going to put in the link below. It's called Dying on Instagram. And this guy was a photographer. He was an artist. He liked to do a lot of creative things. And I met the guy multiple times. I met him when his cancer was very late stage. He was very frail, and it was very sad to see. But in this video, he would kind of vent and say that I feel sometimes so betrayed. I'm paraphrasing here, but where there's all these people out there just sitting around doing nothing, and they get to keep on living. And here he is, terminal cancer, and he has so many things that he wants to accomplish in life, and he can't do it because life's not fair, apparently. And he mentions this in the video, and when I heard that, it really got me thinking. I'm like, he has a point, and I understand his bitterness to that. It's like, why am I being robbed so quickly? And why does my life have to end when I have so many things I still want to do? And if you take that perspective and take what he's saying, that really does kind of tell you that you should live every day like it's your last. When I say that I want to draw for my comic tonight, I get aggravated with myself when I miss one night because I feel like that's one day wasted. I don't want to waste any day. And as I make this video tonight, I decided to make this video because I didn't get around to drawing tonight as I told myself that I wanted to. And I'm like, well, I don't want to just sit down and, play a game or watch a movie right now when I have to do something. And I knew I had this video in the works, in my thoughts. So that's what I'm making right now. I'm making this night worth it because I don't like it when I miss a day or completely waste a day. I'm not saying that those days still won't happen, but I actively try to keep them from happening because, you never know. It could be your last day. And as a sidestep, I'll keep it brief, but I generally get along with my family. I love my family. But I recently had gotten a really big fight with my mom over something because I live near my parents now, and every now and then I go over and have dinner with them. They invite me over. It's kind of like a weekly thing, so it's nice. It's been really good. We ended up having a pretty touchy conversation about a very sensitive topic, and it got really, really bad to the point where I wanted to leave, and then my mom was like, get out of the house. Things like that never happens. That's not what my family is like. But I pretty much got thrown out of the house, even though I was ready to leave anyway. But it was a bad fight. It was like one of the worst fights I've had, with my mom in years. And I went home and I was just sitting there, just kind of reminiscing. And I was talking to a friend about it, and he was saying, "Dude, you need to patch that up." And I'm like, well, I'll let it bake, because I still kind of felt peeved a little bit. Like, I felt like I had a point in the argument, and I wanted her to think about it a little bit, and like, I'll just let that kind of simmer. And he's like, don't do that, because that creates rifts in family relationships. That's what my friend was saying. And from what I was hearing from him, he's like, he did the same thing, where he let something stew, or he just delayed to confront it, and it ended up breaking apart relationships. And I started thinking about what he was saying, and then I started thinking, oh man, like, what if like I woke up tomorrow and my mom was driving somewhere and she got killed in a car accident? Like, I know that sounds morbid, but you hear stories about that all the time, where the last word somebody said to each other was an argument, and then they die or something horrible happens, and then they can never get that back. And I started thinking about that. What would happen if I got, messed up, and then, the last words my mom said to me was an argument? I mean, what a terrible thing. And I ended up texting her and, just telling her, hey, we should talk. And I drove back over that night. We talked for 2 hours up until, midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning. And we resolved our differences and everything was good. And I was so happy that I did that. But that was just kind of a life perspective thing where, what if? It is the what if. Like, what if the worst happened tomorrow? You can't predict what's going to happen. So as I try to exit this morbid part of the video, back to the whole part of like making the most of your time, I start thinking, my mind goes all over the place. I mean, I pace, I think to myself, I speak my thoughts all the time. But, think about anyone that you admire. Think about, a great actor, a great writer, a great musician, a great artist, a great comic book person. I don't care who it is that you admire. Anyone that you know of that you admire that's, been very successful in what they do, they didn't just walk into a room and get it. They didn't just say, oh, well, I just knew how to like be snazzy and put on a big smile. I mean, it takes work to develop a craft or get good at something. And I hear people all the time say, oh, that person's so talented, or, oh, I wish I could do that. But you can. I'm not saying that, everyone's going to be a Thomas Kincaid or everyone's going to be an Alex Ross. But if you want something bad enough, you'll find the time to make that an importance in your life and go after it. And a lot of times people are sitting there saying like, oh, man, I wish I could do that. Wow, you're so great, as they hold the game controller and keep playing video games. It's like, well, I don't see you making any moves on your own part to get good at anything. I mean, unless you want to be a major league gamer and a professional gamer and try to be all these other, Twitch streamers and make money off of it. That, I'm sorry, but that's not reality. I know there are people that make livings doing that, but that's not reality. That's just trying to find the excuse to dodge reality, in my opinion. Anything worthwhile, you have to work for. in my opinion. I would think that a lot of people would back me up on that. Anything worthwhile doesn't come easy. You will have to work for it, because if it was easy, then everyone would be doing it. Everyone would be writing a hit album. Everyone would be some famous actor, right? Everyone would be writing some amazing comic book. Everyone would be a great artist, right? No, you have to work for it. Good things come to those who work for them. And it's not always an easy road. And if you're having one of those midlife crises, or like an existential crisis, trying to figure out, what am I doing with my life? Like, I don't like this whole, just watching movies and TV and playing video games, and I'm literally doing nothing but that other than my day job. You might want to restructure that. And I'm not saying, people get married, they have families, they have kids, they have priorities, you have mouths to feed, you have things that matter, but everyone has an outlet. Everyone has something they want in their own life. My writer, who's also my brother-in-law, he's appreciated comics his whole life. He's one of the biggest comic connoisseurs I've ever met. I mean, he doesn't just appreciate comics. I mean, he appreciates the industry and the craft and like how it works. Like, he analyzes comics down to like the whole production level and marketing level. It's great, and that's why I really like to use him, because he has so much knowledge that I don't have. But he's got a family. I've got a niece and nephew, and he has a day job, and he works his ass off and has all these responsibilities every day. And yet there are still small passions that he likes to do, that he always makes time for, and that he's driven to try to get better at. And that's why I believe everyone can do that. When people say, oh, well, I'm married and have kids, my dreams are over. No, they're not. Your dreams aren't over. I know guys, when I was back doing music for their short films, and they were graduating film school, they already had a kid. They lived in the Midwest. They picked their whole life up and moved to Los Angeles to kickstart their career. And they wanted to really push for what they wanted to do in life. So if there's a will, there's a way. In any way possible. It doesn't have to be your profession. You don't have to make whatever that you love to do to be your main meal ticket. But if you want a strong hobby or something you want to excel at that makes you happy, that might make other people happy, then you have that ability. And I guess that's the point, what I'm trying to say. And to me, this graphic novel I'm working on, Cashmere Sky, I mean, yeah, it's a bunch of cartoon cats, and it's a graphic novel, and I've never done something like this before, but damn it, I have never felt more convicted to do something in my life, including what I thought I wanted to do with my life. I ended up getting a degree in music from one of the best music schools in the world, drowning myself in debt, and here I am not using it. I'm drawing cartoon cats. Granted, college did give me some new opportunities. That's why I'm working the job that I work right now. So it did open up other doors. So I don't fully regret it. But man, that debt sucks. I'd much rather get a Ferrari than the debt that I have right now. But I'm not going to go there. That's not really the point of this video. But even now, it's been 2.5 years since I picked up the pencil seriously. And I know I made a video of anyone can improve. And I might make another one of those just to show you my last year of art since the end of the last Can You Improve video. But it is kind of fun to see where I was at, not just in my ability to draw, but where my mentality was at. My mentality of this whole project, this whole thing about me doing art, has evolved and grown so much over the last 2.5 years. And that's one of the things that I guess personally excites me. Where I kind of joked where it was just like when I started music, when I figured out how to put a note into a computer and how exciting that was, and then how it took me on this incredible journey, and then I got accepted into this music school, and suddenly like, wow, this could be the rest of my life. Like, I'm going into like this big stuff here. And it all started with me just clicking some notes in on my parents' computer at home when I was in high school. And here I am again in my late 20s, early 30s, and starting over with a different craft, drawing. And it's been quite rewarding and humbling. I'm not really sure how to describe it, but I'm glad that I've taken the path that I've had. I haven't written a music note in the time I started drawing. And what's so crazy is that I have no regrets because I'm still happy with what I'm doing, and it's been my decision the entire time. I still remember that quote I saw on social media, it takes generally up to 7 years to master any new skill. And I'm not saying that I'm going to master art or drawing in 7 years, but it's just amazing how far I will come in 7 years if I don't stop at the pace that I'm working. And just the things that I've seen in the last 6 months, just with art has been amazing. I mean, I'm now finding myself getting hired for projects, and I'm working on a game right now. That never would have happened had I not just decided to pick up the pencil and start drawing cartoon cats, Now I'm doing stuff that has nothing to do with cartoon cats. I'm working on a game. And it's great. I'm getting paid for it. I'm actually starting to get a turnaround for my craft. That's awesome. But those are the little examples of doorways that open up that you can never predict when you start down a road and you never stop. And that's what I encourage anyone to do on any craft that you embark on. It doesn't have to be art. It doesn't have to be anything that you would see as a typical creative field. It could be anything you want. I mean, my dad loves fishing. He's a giant outdoorsman. And he started a fishing charter service where he takes people fishing and takes them out on the water, and they catch huge fish, stripers and wipers, which are hybrid bass and stripers. I can't quite remember. It's on his website. I actually built his website. But we catch fish. They're 20-pound fish, 20-something pound fish, huge fish. And, he's built up this great private clientele and takes people out fishing. And just this week, as I say this, actually, I'm sorry, today, he got notified a couple weeks ago from Fox Midwest Sports, and they wanted to shoot an outdoor fishing show. And somehow my dad came up on somebody's roster, and my dad just got done shooting the show today. And they killed it. They were hitting fish left and right. And my dad's going to be on TV because of a craft that he was passionate about and went after and never stopped. And his reputation grew, and, he made a lot of people happy, and just amazing doorways opened up. I have no idea what this show is going to do for him. It may do nothing, but, that's pretty cool if you ask me. I mean, my dad's going to be on freaking Fox, some Fox fishing show. So I can't wait to see that once they get it developed for the episode, but that's pretty cool. I'm just saying, another example. If you don't quit on your dreams, amazing things happen. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. It's gone further than I thought it would, but I had a lot of things to say, and I'm sure that there's more that I could say. I just can't think of it right now. As far as a graphic novel, of course, cashmeresky.com. I actually also put up a splash page for hyperdrivehelix.com. I'm going to have a whole bunch of links in this video, I swear. But I'm just trying to build the whole meta version of the world, because Hyperdrive Helix is like a cartoon show in Ion Valley, which is Cashmere Sky. But I've got about 19 pages thumbnailed. I've got 3 pages so far with finished line art. Nothing's colored yet, but it's swiftly moving along. I have a lot going on. My goal, like I said, is 30 pages done by Q1 of next year. So that could be January, February, or March. I don't want to make any promises yet. But it is swiftly moving along, and I would argue that it's right on track. I don't know if it is on track, but I hope to God it is. But no, I can't wait to release it. Can't wait for people to read it. And I'll have more updates along the way as that continues to unfold. So thanks for watching. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.